Are you tired of being told to just bounce back when life hits you hard? What if I told you there's a better way, a way to become durable no matter what comes your way? Stick around because today we're diving deep into the secret of mastering your emotions and becoming the rock everyone relies on. We're going live.
No.
We'll do it live.
This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host, Paul Bauer.
Good morning. What's going on, guys? Thank God. Thank the sweet baby Jesus. Oh my God, is my fucking camera? Hold on one second here. This is all messed up, man. Stop automatically doing that, StreamYard. Okay, look. Coffee tastes better in these mugs, guys. Anyway, thank the sweet baby Jesus that it's Friday. If you guys are new to my channel, my name is Paul Bauer, and I help men level up and get better with women. And the funny thing about leveling up and getting better with women is that when we do it, it tends to make us better in all areas of our lives. And we have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, don't you know? And every Friday is Frame Friday. Today, we are going to be talking about emotional durability, and joining me today, hold on, let's put it like this. Joining me today is the expert in the space on emotional durability. It's my man, AJ from the Dragon Ship. AJ, what's going on, man?
What's going on? I would say experts a little, set the bar a little high.
Shut your filthy mouth. Let me fluff you up, man.
I do have some knowledge in the area of becoming emotionally durable.
Didn't you know that as soon as you drop a book, you are now the fucking authority? Look, we're not even at the 8-minute mark, and I'm cussing, man. You have a book out. You have a book.
Yes.
So you have a book that makes you the authority. Just take it. You're going to take it.
That goddamn imposter syndrome, bro.
Yeah. Well, you got to get over that, man, because you have a book out now. So you're
It's
kind of a
scary.
big deal.
It's scary.
Yeah. So I mean, when you first dropped this book, I had you on to talk about it, but you want to give people a Cliff's Notes, because if they don't, for people just joining us and they don't know what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to take them on a journey through psychology, emotion, and we're going to be going over chapter 1 today. But what inspired you to want to do this? Because Thor gave us 7 P's to work with, and you're like, I'm going to do it on this. Like,
So emotional durability, I think, like, it just called to me because I remember like picking that out in chapters 9 and 10 of his book, Dominant Masculine Presence, and dealing with everything that I've dealt with in life. I'm like, I think I could write a book on this and like expound upon it, especially with my background being a now I am a lead critical facilities operations technician or engineer, depending on whichever country or company you work for. Different title, same job kind of thing. I know Meta calls it a CFE, critical facilities engineer. Google calls it the same thing. My last company called it critical environment technician. I am a lead.
For people that don't speak nerd, he works at a data center. He works at the internet, guys.
I am the most dangerous person for the internet.
Like you handle like the cooling and the power, right?
Yes.
For the internet.
Yes. One breaker and I'm shutting down multiple servers. So
I've spent a lot of time at data centers, and people that aren't in the industry have no idea what a data center is. And when you bring them there, it's just, rows and rows of servers and, like cooling and fans. And so it's loud in there. And so I always just say, hey, this is the internet. This is what the internet looks like.
Yeah. So that right there in itself was a high stress job. I worked in the rail. Worked for a company that contracted with Amtrak and WASDOT to ensure that passenger rail was safe to drive or to ride on the rails. So that was actually a very high stress job because I was the guy signing the paperwork, and anything wrong that Ferrari found is $100,000 per day that they could find me. So that's high stress. Nuclear Navy operator, like our friend Nuke, who is live right now. And I gave him and Jack Napier a lot of crap because they were.
Don't they know this is my time slot? You bet.
I know. I already berated Jack for that one.
No, that's okay.
And then also having a dysfunctional family upbringing.
Yeah.
So
got it. So that's what made you an expert. See, that's the thing is sometimes people they have this idea that they should only listen to people that have lived a perfect life. It's like, well, people who have lived a perfect life haven't learned anything.
yeah,
You
they don't
know?
know. They haven't had to overcome. They haven't felt the struggle. On top
Yeah.
of that, the other stuff in there, I met Thor through a bad breakup with a malignant covert narcissist. Yes, I'm going to throw around the N-word, the naughty N-word.
Yeah.
I've had Ryan Fowler, Ryan Christensen, and a therapist that I had while I was post zeroing out all agree with me that she meets that criteria. So
Okay. I'll take your word for it. All right. So we're going to be going over chapter 1. Before we get into that though, man, they changed all this around. What did they do? Okay. So media asset. No. All right, man. I hate StreamYard sometimes.
I got to put our thumbnail for Saturday on there.
Oh yeah. All right, guys, I got distracted because StreamYard changed all the layout here. But guys, do like, subscribe, hit those notifications. We have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you guys are watching live right now, I see 22 people watching live. Sound off in the chat. All right, we want to hear from you, and then don't be stingy with those super chats. All right, we know you guys got the money. Y'all are sending $500 super chats, and I'm not asking for that. But if you guys send a $10 super chat, you get a bouncing tatas video, and then if you guys send a $20 super chat, you get the shaking booty video. Yeah, y'all know what I'm about. So the first concept in
10:30.
Yeah, well, that you still get the shaky booty video.
I want both. Shaky booty. And
Oh yeah. There you go.
$30.
Oh,
come on, guys.
In Beer Club Brothers, they automatically get bumped up to the next level. So we're going over chapter 1, which is understanding emotional durability. You have a quote here: "The measure of a man is not how he handles success, but how he manages adversity." And so that sort of leads us into the first concept, which is, what is emotional durability? What's the definition of that, AJ? And now your audio's cut out.
Professional podcaster. I muted myself.
Wow. Start over.
It's one of those things. So in the book, I liken it to an analogy of comparing emotional durability and emotional resilience. Resilience is like that ball bouncing back and forth, like you're taking the hit. Emotional durability is you've taken so many hits over the time and you've learned how to adjust that you become the oak. You're just solid. You'll bend, but you'll never break, kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah, because a lot of people are trying to build up their resilience, right? Would you say that then resilience is what you have to go through to become durable?
I would say that, like, resilience needs to be built, and then you eventually embody the durability.
Okay, that makes sense, I guess. So why would you say that emotional durability is essential, right? An essential skill of a masculine presence?
Because I want to say it's part of, and I don't say it in the book, but this is like my own little theorizing is that emotional durability is there to help you emulate in a way that you're not so neurotic, and people around you will see that and respect you more for it, and actually give you a little bit more listening, or be more they'll give you more respect, is what I'm trying to get at.
Okay.
Whether it's professional relationships, personal relationships, or even loved ones. Like if you're in a relationship with a chick, she's going to respect you a lot more and be more willing to follow if you are a person that can show that, hey, you are emotionally durable. Her little shit games or shit tests and her comfort tests aren't affecting you.
Yeah. Well, I think what I find, one of the biggest problems guys have in relationships, and this right here, I think, is one of the reasons why guys that are working with me in the Dead Bedroom program that I have, when we get to week two is all about handling shit tests, right? Not taking what she says seriously, not emotionally reacting to what she says. And I think that's where most guys fail in relationship, and they start seeing problems, is because their girl says something, does something, whatever, and they're emotionally, they like, we sort of default to anger. So we start like yelling at our girl. We got to get our point across. She needs to know, blah, 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 whatever. Right. And so, but once you say, hey man, the king doesn't have to explain himself. Right. You teach these guys, hey man, you think of it. And it sounds terrible. It sounds toxic, but that's a good mental model for guys to have. right? You don't have to explain yourself. You don't even have to take what she says seriously. And in fact, don't. And, take whatever she says and like screw with her, right? Like tease her a little bit. And what they start seeing the dynamic change like that. It's because women don't want you to be emotional. They don't want you to react like a woman. And that's what a lot of guys are sort of trained to do nowadays.
Yeah. I think I talked about in the introduction that whole APA study from 2019 that labeled all conventional masculine behaviors as toxic.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and Rollo talks about it, Thor talks about it, and a few other guys in the space where men are raised to be defective women these days. And I would argue that women are being raised to be the men that they want to marry.
Yeah. It's really impacting not just relationships, but society as a whole. And guys, if you guys happen to hear clickety clacketing sounds in the back of AJ's, that's his dog's Diggers.
I apologize, everybody. She is being a pain this morning. She like knows when I'm like live streaming. She's like, I'm just gonna be the biggest pain in his ass.
Yeah, I need attention. I need all eyes on me.
Classic no matter the species, women are women.
Yeah. All right. So the next concept here in chapter 1 is self-awareness, right? Understanding your emotional triggers and patterns. I mean, why is that important?
Oh, that one is so good. Like this is one that I probably took me like the longest to realize. One of those things that I know Thor talks about it in chapters 8 and 9 in his book. I actually picked it up from Eckhart Tolle, Power of Now. It's once you realize what triggers you, and that's part of the self-awareness, you'll learn how to, one, step outside of that emotion and just accept it for what it is. 2, you'll figure out how to avoid putting yourself in those situations that you know that will end up triggering. I think I talk about later in the book, especially I think it's in chapter 2 or 3. One of the strongest things that you have as a dude, especially if you're learning how to do this up front, is the power to walk away. You're having an issue with your girl and you know it's going to trigger you, but you don't know how to figure it out yet. Grab the gym bag. Go to the gym. Go for a walk. Go for a drive. Like that's I think would be the first key thing to becoming self-aware is realizing what pisses you off and first remove yourself from the situation. As you start getting more comfortable in those situations, learn how to adapt to them and end up winning in the end.
Yeah, that's a hard thing for guys to learn, right? Because we're programmed to be reactive a lot. And so if you're reacting like by yelling at your girl, like, whatever, getting into arguments, the best way to step into a better communication style, and I've adopted Paul Benjamin's Luca model, right? But until you can get to a place where you can have better emotional durability, and emotional control in search situations like that, it's better to just not say anything. Right. So you don't need to get into an argument, leave, right? Hey, we're not dealing with this right now, and leave. And that's actually a better way of handling a situation that could get heated than to dragged into an argument, right? Where you're not going to win. And a lot of guys, one of our beer club brothers, he joined us for the call last night. He's one of the newer guys in there. When he first joined the group, he was adamant about, I love arguing with my girlfriends and stuff. And he just went through a breakup. It's like, bro, do you see how this might not be working for you? Right? Like, so, yeah. But arguing with women, a lot of guys are like, I love trying to prove her wrong or whatever. It's like, look, it's never going to win because she's not listening to what you're saying anyway. She's only paying attention to your tone and body language and how whatever it is that you're saying and how you're saying it makes her feel in the moment. It's not even logical. Yeah. So arguing with her is pointless. And so if that's your gut reaction and you can't get control over that, it's better to just not say anything. Just know that you're right and leave. Right?
I actually had a good little segment on that. Like I was using this, I was using like the Eckhart Tolle because I read the book in between my last 2 relationships, and I'd always ask myself, is this worth getting angry over? And then I made the fatal mistake after I was RP'd, verbalizing it. Me and my ex got into an argument about something electrical. I have a background that is extensive in electrical and electronics. I was like sitting there, I am fucking right. And she's like, that makes no fucking sense. Yeah. Like it was lost cause. Yeah. So it's just like, now it's just like, if I got into that same argument now, if I was still with her, I'd just be like, Okay. Walk away and just laugh. Like, oh, you're so cute.
Yeah, you're adorable when you're mad. So when we talk about self-awareness, right? And we talked about how important it is, but what are some practical exercises that can help you, achieve that awareness? Because a lot of times we don't even realize what we do, because 95% of what we do is habit-based. And that's a part of what I talk about in my book, Paradigm. But we are programmed to respond and react a certain way. And so to undo that first takes awareness, but how are there's ways that we can help really strengthen that awareness.
Yeah. The way I figured it out first for me, and I know everyone says journaling. I actually don't journal. I mentioned that book. Like,
You
I am
son of a
horrible.
bitch.
I'm horrible at journaling.
You know what?
I'm bad at it.
Honestly, I didn't start journaling until this year.
Okay.
Yeah, and I do that more as a part of my woo-woo practices, but that's a lot of that is a great framework to build your frame and fix your mindset. And so a great book on that is The Last Law of Attraction book you'll ever need to read. And so I've been doing this every morning since October, because I have a coach myself, and he was challenging us to do this, and like dramatic differences are happening because of it. It's a really good practice.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I didn't do it for years. I would do the affirmation thing.
Yeah,
whatever,
Ray
but
talks about it. Affirmation is actually another good one to use. Like, hey, I know I'm weak in this area. Let me find some affirmations that would help me become stronger in this area. Another one is that mindfulness, like practicing mindfulness and meditating. Those are all good ways of doing it. And if worst comes to worst, go to the fucking gym. Go to especially an MMA gym. If you have the opportunity to go to an MMA gym and you're trying to figure out yourself and figure out what your trigger points are, nothing like another 200-pound man beating the crap out of you. So
your dog's whining. Does she need to go out or something?
No, she's wanting attention. Like, she's been out like 4 times already since I got home at 7.
Oh man. All right, let's hit some of these super chats, and then we'll do some.
I'll let her out. Screw it.
Okay, yeah, go let her out real quick. All right, guys, while he's doing that and dealing with his professional podcasting dog, let's hit the super chat. CW with a $5 super chat. He says, great meetup last night. It's always great to see AJ on the show. Get in beer club, gents. Yes, we did have a beer club meetup last night. There's a link in the chat to join if you guys are on YouTube. If you guys are watching on Facebook or X, come on over to YouTube, okay? God, these buttons are all screwed up. Anyway, so he says, great meetup last night. We had a good conversation. I was on there for about 2.5 hours. I don't know how much longer it lasted after that, but I saw the guys were on there for a while. Oh, hey, AJ's back. So CW is a beer club brother. He sent $5. He automatically gets bumped up to the $10 super chat.
Thank you for the super chats. Movies bouncing, can't stop that. From the east to the west, you are the best. Keep those chats coming in, let's do it all again.
Bless their hearts.
That little Asian.
Nurse Chick's in the house. Hold on, I gotta give Nurse Chick this.
I'm so naughty.
Yeah, she is.
I'm gonna come.
Yep, I will. And then
in the messages.
And then Ed said a $10 super chat. He says, exercise your authority, AJ. I'm going to give him, because he's a beer club brother also. He did request the booty shaking video. And he gets that because he's a beer club brother. He automatically gets bumped up to the $20 super chat.
Super chat will see you there. Shake it, dance without a care. Send it love from everywhere. Cool beats we all can share. Your support is so divine. Moving closer to the line. Thank you, you're the best. Party on, we never rest.
How did you like to bite onto that, develop lockjaw, and be dragged to death? All right. So we got
Oh man, I got some stories that I gotta share sometime about something like that incident, but that didn't happen to me.
Okay.
It's kind of disturbing.
I got that from from the movie Lone Wolf McQuade, which, by the way, Nurse Chick, we're watching that movie as a part of your homework. Josh Perez, he says, morning, your topics on emotional weakness hits hard for me. I'm finding myself getting way too wrapped up in my girlfriend and how she treats me, constantly analyzing every little thing she does. And then he adds, I'm not durable now and it sucks. So first thing I would recommend, Josh, is get AJ's book. So I'm gonna drop a link to that in the chat. And then also get in Beer Club, brother.
Yeah.
Get in Beer Club. It's like, it's $10 a month. Perfect place to talk about this kind of shit, man.
Yeah, beer, I would second a Beer Club. Like, you have Paul right there at the tip of your finger. You have people like myself, Mike Steele's in there, Nuke Cadillo's in there, like guys from the space who are well known. Like the Rule Zero guys are in there, Dragon Ship guys are in there. So if you got any questions for us, we're there to help you.
Yeah, Thor's in there occasionally. Yeah.
Is that Jabroni Glenn still in there?
No, fuck that guy. Just kidding.
Glenn.
All right. So we talked about, I mentioned Beer Club. Actually, I didn't do any of these things. Hold on. God, this fucking media button's really pissing me off today. I need some emotional durability over it. Guys, follow me on social media. The links are in the description. Get on the email list.comeonmanpod.com. Get my ebook, She's Made You Weak. It explains the betatization process and how you can defend against the dark arts. Basically, your girl is on an evil mission to fucking ruin your relationship, and she doesn't even know it. And this is how to spot that, how to deal with it, and how to turn things around. Okay, so get on that. It's free. Some people get confused by that, right? You go there, just put $0 in the pricing and hit buy now, and you'll get it for free. You'll also get some free stickers. But if you don't want stickers, just put don't want stickers, and I won't waste a stamp on you. And then I already mentioned Beer Club. Get in Beer Club, guys. It's a good group of dudes. We're all just hanging out, just talk about guy shit, right? It's nothing heavy in there. But it's important for guys to connect with other guys and talk with other men. Most guys don't have other dudes they can talk to, especially about relationship stuff, where guys actually know what the fuck they're talking about because they've been working on this stuff. You go and talk to, the dudes at the bar. You go talk to the people at church. They have no fucking clue what they're doing. Let me just play a commercial for Beer Club, and then we'll get back to your book.
Here's a harsh truth that everybody gets upset about online when I say it. They get upset because of their ego investment into the fairy tale idea of love and partnership. They get upset because of their ego investment into the idea that their woman is their best friend, their confidant, and they think that love will conquer all, and that their woman will be there through thick and thin. The truth is that as a man, your woman is hardwired biologically and psychologically to want you to be her rock. It doesn't work the other way around. Women do not care about your struggles as a man. They may think they care. They may even want to care, but her evolutionary DNA will not let her care. If you bring her your problems, she will lose attraction for you over time, and she will leave. Now, whenever I talk about this, people lose their minds and start talking about men unaliving themselves. The faster that men learn that women don't care about our struggles, the faster we'll save the lives of men. Men off themselves because of their own ego investments in the Disney fairy tale lie. And when that fairy tale goes up in flames, they get zeroed out and they end things. Men do need a proper outlet for dealing with their problems, but going to their woman isn't the answer. Men need a tribe. They need a brotherhood. That's why I created my Beer Club. It's a monthly virtual hangout for men only. It's a place where men can be men. It's a place where men can talk about guy stuff without having to worry about offending women. It's a place where they can go without having to worry about being called toxically masculine. It's a place where they can go to solve their problems. Because men solve problems, women cause problems, you dig? Visit beer.comeonmanpod.com. That's beer.comeonmanpod.com to sign up.
Yes, do the thing.
That's actually one of the things I do mention in the book is networks. Beer Club is a network. It is a good place to get support.
Yeah. Oh, I plug the shit out of Beer Club in my book as well. Nurse Chick says yes, my love. So going back to Lone Wolf McQuade, the other day I'm standing there and like I've got a button-up shirt like this. My shirt's like out like this, and Nurse Chick starts playing with the fucking chest hair and shit. And I go, oh, you like that chest hair, do you? You like, it's like Chuck Norris. Do I remind you of Chuck Norris? I'm just fucking with her. And she goes, oh yes, definitely, or whatever. And I go, do you even know who Chuck Norris is? Because Nurse Chick's 9 years younger than me, And she goes, yes, I used to watch Walker Texas Ranger when I was a kid and stuff. And I go, yeah, but have you ever seen Lone Wolf McQuade? I go, because before he was Walker Texas Ranger, he was Lone Wolf McQuade. And she's like, no. And I'm like, girl, you're going to learn today.
Dude, I thought about this. I didn't realize like me and her are the same age, but you and Nurse Chick next Halloween should do Smoking the Bandit in the first one. Do Bandit and Farrah Fawcett or whatever her name is.
Oh, no, it was God, what is her name? Hold on. Who was the chick in Smokey and the Bandit?
So you could pull off. It wasn't
Farrah Fawcett. It was Sally Fields. Sally Fields. Yeah, we could do that. Well, so what we typically do though is my friend Tyrene, who I run with. Tyrene usually hosts a murder mystery Halloween party, and we just go as whatever our assigned characters are. So that's like I was dressed like a cowboy this year, and she was dressed like a saloon girl, So all right, back to the book, guys. We are talking about chapter 1 and psychology paradigm. I'm sorry, psychology emotion, my bad. And yes, there we go. So the next concept here is confidence and self-assurance. So what's the difference between confidence and arrogance?
Ooh. Arrogance right off the get-go is I want to say it's a easier concept to describe than confidence. They're very similar, but arrogance comes from an ego and inability to control one's emotions that go with that ego in a specific area.
Okay, I'm confused now. So
arrogance is like you think you're the best, but there's nothing there to back it. Whereas confidence is like, I've proven myself. There's a little bit of modesty involved with confidence, I want to say. You're also willing to, if you're a confident person, you're willing to step out of your comfort zone. And it's okay whether you fail or not. You learn something from that, and you're willing to push beyond and learn how to calibrate. I want to say that's the big difference between the two.
It's like, would you say like someone who's arrogant, like they like to brag about themselves a lot. They talk themselves up, right? It's like,
yeah.
But someone who is confident, they don't have anything to prove.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Would you say that? Okay.
Yeah, like I see it all the time. And because I hop on Glenn's after hour live streams a lot, and there are some people who are anonymous. They keep themselves anonymous and they talk this big game, but it's like, I can tell by the way you talk, by the way you act, that you're full of shit, bro.
Yeah.
And then you go broken because they get upset. You go broken record on them, and they get even more upset. I'm like, I'm now playing the game with you.
Yeah, you can often tell someone who is really not that confident in themselves because they run their mouths the most. Like they they are sitting there just telling everyone how great they are and how awesome everything they do is. Like, someone who's truly confident in what they're all about, they don't have to brag about everything they're doing, Yeah. Oh man, my coach, one of my coaches, Mark, talked about this. He says that because he used to work for Tony Robbins, right? He used to be the head of sales for Tony. And he said that Tony Robbins at his, date with destiny or whatever would always bring up, like 5 or 6 women and then ask the audience, okay, which one of these women is the most feminine, right? It, exudes the most feminine energy, right? And there's always like some young slutty sleuth that's like doing, grinding on people and just being, obnoxious. And then there's always just a woman with a delicate, soft feminine presence that just, she's not, trying to get all this attention and stuff. She's just there and she's beautiful and, she's relaxed in her feminine. And so people are always point out that, the girl who's not really making a big scene.
Yeah.
And then they do the same thing with guys. There's always a guy who's like, chest pounding and like, trying to start fights with everybody and he's talking mad shit, right? There's always like these guys that are trying to be more than they are, like the little dog syndrome. And then there's always like, some guy who's in the back not trying to do anything. And everyone always picks that guy. Oh yeah, he's like the alpha male, right? And then Mark brought up the fact, he goes, Tony, the like the real alpha male guy, he's not even up on the stage, right? Because he's got nothing to prove. He's not even going to like raise his hand to go up and participate in that bullshit.
Yeah. Another way to look at that, and you bring up actually a very good example, and Thor talks about it in his book, the whole idea of command presence versus demand presence, the whole command respect versus demand respect.
Yeah.
Like, if you're confident, you command the room when you walk in without having to say a thing. If you're arrogant, you're sitting there barking orders, demanding stuff right off the bat without even proving yourself at all.
Yeah, you're basically sub-communicating. Hey, everybody, look at me. Look at me.
Yeah. That's not the way you want to AMOG, if you want to go into some old school RP terms.
Yeah, yeah. Which stands for alpha male of the group, if you guys are new to the space. Emotional regulation is the next concept. This is actually really hard for guys. I think this is probably the number one hardest thing for guys to start really working on, and they don't even realize it because we're constantly told that we're more rational. Women are more, emotion based, but so many guys are led by their emotions. It's once you see it, you can't unsee it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So what are some techniques to master your emotions rather than being controlled by them?
Oh, I remember all this. It's been a while since I've written the book. But like I've said already, using that third-party observer is probably the easiest and first thing you should do. And it's to step out of your emotion, observe it. Like you're kind of like partitioning your brain inside your brain. You're like, hey, here's my consciousness, here's my subconsciousness. I'm gonna watch outside of those two. And I know it sounds woo-woo as hell, but it's one of those things like you start asking yourself, why am I angry? Why am I sad?
Yeah.
And then you go back into your male brain and you're like, problem solving time. Let's try to figure out why these things are triggering me in that way.
Yeah. So get basically back to awareness of your triggers is what you would say. Yeah.
The journaling and self-reflection, that's another way to do it. Again, I'm being honest with you guys. I'm not the greatest journaler. I did it a few times during Masculine Empowerment Network, the 2 years I signed up for it. But other than that, I really do not journal, and Wraith is going to kick my ass for saying that.
He's big on journaling.
Yes,
yeah, he talks about that in his book a lot too. So some other good things that you mentioned in your book is breathing exercises, deep breathing, and then cognitive reframing. So cognitive reframing is actually an NLP technique. And essentially that's where you just look at something from a different point of view. Like a lot of guys look at shit tests from their girl as, oh, she's disrespecting me. And like sometimes she might be, right? It really just depends on what like the actual words she's saying and what in her sort of intention behind it. But what you'll find is if you really take a look at what she says and how she's acting, 99% of the time she's not actively trying to disrespect you. Yeah. It's not really a disrespectful thing, and that's why you don't have to take it so seriously. Yeah,
and it's also I've seen you do it a few times in Bear Club. I've seen Wraith do it plenty of times in Masculine Empowerment Network. The whole Socratic method of questioning individuals. If you learn how to do that on yourself, it helps a lot too.
Yeah. So what the Socratic method of questioning is people will never argue with the reasons they give themselves for something, right? So if you can ask a question a certain way, like almost like in a leading way, where they're saying something, that's what they believe to be true. And then you can reframe that, right? Like, are you sure it's like this? Or have you ever thought that maybe it would be like this? Would that make sense or whatever, right? Now they're thinking of it themselves. They're thinking of a solution themselves, right? You can also ask them like, well, what do you think you should do in that instance? Right. If they are, bitching and complaining and you say, well, what do you think you could do about that? It's a good thing to do to your girl too. Right? Because a lot of us, we're naturally wired to solve girls' problems and they don't want us to 99% of the time. They just want us to listen. So if you know,
it's not about the nail.
If you know there's a clear fucking solution there, a good way of handling that is to go, oh, well, what do you think how are you going to deal with that? How are you going to handle that? Ask her and see what she says. Right. And if you just don't know if what she wants, just ask her, like, do you just want me to listen or do you want my advice? 99% of the time she just wants
I call in the book, do you want me to fix this for you or do you want me to feel it with you?
There you go. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Most of the time, they would just want you to feel it with them. Yeah.
I want to say the two biggest questions a guy could ask himself using that is to quote Rhinestone, because nobody ever asks themselves what they want. They're always doing stuff for what everybody else wants for them, kind of thing. So it's like,
Yeah.
what do you want? And back to the whole third party observer effect, for the internalizing is, why do I feel this way? That's always a good question to ask yourself. Why do I feel this way? You
Yeah.
can always ask yourself, why does my girl feel this way when she's giving me those shit tests or just being cranky? But
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe
One
it's
thing,
time of the month.
one
want
thing
some
that
chocolate?
Ryan brings up in Dread is sometimes when your girl's saying stuff, sometimes she's got a point. You know, like sometimes you're messing up, you know, and she's you're not showing up for her the way she needs. And so sometimes she's got a point, and there's ways of dealing with that too, you know. All right. So emotional regulation, being able to stay calm and composed under pressure, man. Like, yeah, you have a stressful job there at the data center. Like if like stuff's going down. I one time worked for a company in our data center, their air conditioning went out.
Oh,
Their air conditioning went out, and the entire place got hot fast, and all the servers started crashing, and all like our stuff went down. And I go driving to the data center to get there. I go in there. There's just like sysadmins just like dragging in fans and stuff, trying to get everything cooled down so that their machines don't melt. You know,
I've seen it myself firsthand. Like, if watching the IT guys, the knock technicians come running in with the crash cart, says, I'm having to bark orders around, be like, hey, did you call the boss to let him escalate it? Oh, no, you haven't? Okay, I'll do that. You start getting the fans in there. I'm going to head to the roof to figure out what's going on.
Yeah. This is like, I tell people I'm only 25 years old, but just working in the IT business is grade me.
I think it's actually saving my ass, because I went from the rail to the data center industry, and now I'm in my second company.
Now you're relaxed then.
Yeah, and now I'm a lead, and I'm at a better company overall.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of railroad, did you see that video I dropped in Beer Club?
Oh, is that the one with the train just nailing the semi or whatever?
Yeah. There was a semi that was like stuck on the tracks, and that train was going fast too, and it just went crashing right through the semi, and then it derailed, and then like all the cars just started flying off the tracks. I was like,
dude, it's bad. Like the one major derailment I had in my career was, luckily I wasn't working that night before it. It was the first time they were running the train on the what they call the JBLM bypass, because they're running they used to run the train around the Point Defiance Peninsula around Tacoma and south, and just I forget where it went after that, like towards Olympia. Now they're going straight through Tacoma, right through Joint Base Lewis McChord, and they took the train off the rails the first time they ran it with passengers.
Oh, geez. Did anyone get hurt?
I would say, I think there was 60 injuries, 2 fatalities, and I say 2 because there was actually a third fatality, but it was a PDF file.
A PDF. Oh, I see. I see what you're saying.
The FBI was on FBI was on scene to collect his laptop before even the FRA, WASDOT, anybody else was there. FBI was already on the dude.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so he's no loss then. Okay. Yeah. Hey guys, coaching's available. If you guys are in a dead bedroom situation, book a free call with me. Go to calls.fixdeadbedrooms.com. All right, let's get back to the book here. The next concept is historical and cultural roots of emotional durability. And so you put some lessons from Stoic philosophy in there, Marcus Aurelius on inner strength and detachment, which is also cool because Wraith also added Marcus Aurelius and Stoicism. How does Stoicism really help us with our mental frame and emotional durability?
I think the Stoics were kind of on a way of like grounding yourself and understanding, like, hey, things aren't going to be perfect, and that's okay. You're not perfect, and that's okay. It's just like just giving you a different look and being more patient, and just not letting the little things bug you that do bug you in the past, and admiring the little things that actually catch your eye. It's kind of a weird concept to describe. Marcus Aurelius, like his book Meditations, which is very good. The guy wrote it 2,000 years ago almost, and it still holds true today. Like a lot of the stuff that he writes about in there, it's just like, yeah, it's because it's been over years since I read it, but it was good.
I was listening to it on audio, and Nurse Chick and I we were on a road trip and we were listening to some of that. It's some of it was like profound. And what I love about Marcus Aurelius is that he basically like really harps on control the controllable. Like there's certain things that are happening in your life that you have no control over. So there's no point in getting all up in your feels about it. And one thing is like how your girl, what your girl does, right? Your girl acting like a woman, doing her woman things. Like you have no control over what she does, and a lot of times guys, because she's not acting the way they hope she would act, especially when they're doing things to try to make her happy or whatever, and she's not happy, like covert contract type stuff, like they get resentful and angry about all that. It's like, you can't control what she's doing, man. So just worry about what you're doing,
Yeah, the only person you have control over is yourself at the end of the day.
Once you could realize that and own that, man, it actually will change your world. It'll change your whole world. You also add the Bushido code, Samurai's Bushido code, which I don't hear of a lot in Red Pill space. You hear a lot of Stoicism and Marcus Aurelius and stuff, but not so much the Bushido code. So, and you have composure under pressure as a sign of warrior spirit. Can you explain that?
Oh God, it's been so long since I looked at this. Like I wrote this stuff. So it's composure under pressure. It's one of those things where I go back to you don't want to be perceived as neurotic when there's something bad happening, because people are just gonna freak out even more, especially if it's like you're in a situation, you're with your girl and it's stressful, and she sees you freaking out. She's gonna be like, he can't protect me. I gotta find somebody else. Her hamster's going to start going wild. So it's one of those things. And it allows for more respect, because if you're cool, calm, and collected, especially like in my professional life, the technicians that work underneath me are going to remain calm, cool, and collected. And my boss is going to remain calm, cool, and collected at the same time.
Well, what I will add, for warrior spirit, in Bushido code, I mean, I did martial arts a lot growing up, and I talk about Mr. Bodhi in my book,
Yes.
but here's the thing. Like if you're in a fight, right? And you're one of the reasons why you, when you train to fight, you're in BJJ, right? The reason why you go to the gym and you do it every day and you get into scuffles and you do sparring matches and stuff like that is so that when it happens, you're not reactive, right? You've been there before. You sort of have the muscle memory for it. And when you can be calm and cool in a situation like that, you can think better. And if you can think better, you're probably going to win, right? But if the other person is like angry and they're in their feels and they're uncontrollable because they're so full of rage or whatever, like the guy who knows how to fight and is calm in that situation is going to prevail.
Yeah,
because he's able to use his head in that moment.
Yeah, and you're waiting for them to mess up at that point. So it's only a matter of time. It's not if he messes up, it's when he messes up, kind of thing. And I want to go back to the Stoicism real fast, because I remember in the book I wrote down, I kind of gave a little jag at the Stoic bros, as I call them, guys who take Stoicism and they just pathologically spurg out on it and like, no, I must be the rock, I must be solid, I cannot be emotional, cannot change. No, you don't want to be that. That's why I relate Stoicism, and I talk a lot about it in the book, and I stole it from Rhinestone, to be honest with you, the oak metaphor, where the oak's strong, it's solid, it's not going to break. It might bend from time to time, but overall, it's not going to break.
Yeah. We're not robots.
Yeah. There are people who come to our space that, they hear about Marcus Aurelius and the Stoicism, and they automatically go, I must do this, must be robot, must be rock, must not move.
Yeah, and that's where Stoicism sort of gets a bad rap, because people think that if you're talking about Stoicism, you're talking about suppressing emotions, and we're not. We're talking about learning to control the emotions. And sort of, there's a time and a place for it. There's a time and a place.
Yeah, you get angry. I don't want to say suppress, because that's not the thing I want to do. But if you get into a point where you're about to blow up, where you can't handle anymore, eject yourself from the situation. Go find a gym if you can. Go lift some weights. Hell, just go out to your car and just fucking scream it out if you have to, or go punch, not the wall, but like a pillow.
Right. Yeah, because there's a lot of women that don't know what they're talking about, that will say, "Oh, you're teaching men to not be emotional," and all this stuff. It's like, lady, if this guy really unleashed his emotions on you, you would not like it. You would not like it. So you're like it. it would, I think most people would agree that if you're ready to tear her head off because she's being such an insufferable bitch, it's better to go, you know what? I can't deal with this right now. I'll talk to you in an hour when I'm calm, and then go take it out at the gym, take it out on a heavy bag, go yell in your car, whatever you got to do. Like,
Hell, I remember I was actually talking about it the other day. The Rule Zero incident, as I call it. I posted on X. This is right towards the end of the relationship. This is the day that I became apathetic towards the relationship. I went on a motorcycle ride after that. Went up to my buddy's place, the guy who gave me my dog, and I'm just like, "Yo, bro, you want to go for a bike ride?" He's like, "Hell yeah!" And then we ended up doing the touching each other's fingers at 70 miles an hour going down the highway.
That's crazy. You know what though? Like, as a motorcycle enthusiast, there is, that road therapy, wind therapy, whatever you want to call it. It's nice, man, because it gives you a chance to think, like just sort of in your head, listening to music or whatever you're listening to, and just being out on the open road. It's nice. It's actually good. You also talk about rugged individualism and Theodore Roosevelt.
Yes.
So resilience and amused mastery in adversity. You want to expand on that?
So like rugged individualism, and I like Theodore Roosevelt's like an American hero. He's almost like a legend at this point, like a folk legend. He did a lot of crazy stuff, and especially like in his army career, like he single-handedly took Havana during the Spanish-American War, that kind of stuff, before he became president. I think he did some other, like, I think he fought a bear. The guy was just crazy. But on top of that, having my libertarianism, it's like there's times where you gotta cultivate yourself being okay, being alone kind of thing, and get that whole being comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's all part of that rugged individualism.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. The next concept is psychological theory supporting emotional durability. So you have self-regulation. Walter Mischel's marshmallow test and its connection to long-term success. What's the marshmallow test?
I gotta remember that one. Give me 1 second.
Wow.
Professional podcaster here, guys.
Wow.
Author, authority.
Unbelievable. Let me just Google it.
I think your ChatGPT screwed up on that one.
Marshmallow test.
I don't remember that in the book.
The marshmallow test is a social science experiment that measures a child's ability to delay gratification.
Yeah, I didn't write that in my book.
Are you sure?
I think ChatGPT got you.
Wow. Well, what about cognitive appraisal?
Cognitive appraisal theory, that right there.
So how interpreting events as opportunities strengthens emotional durability?
Yeah. So like, let's say a good example of this in my own life, I didn't put it in the book, is when I was in between my job, moving to Texas from Washington, when I left the rail to come to the data center. I got lucky in a way. I am banned from Amtrak property. I'm not kidding you. I can't ride a train in this country.
That's funny.
So because my company didn't own the building, I got my resignation was accepted early. They actually paid me out to my whole entire resignation date. But I took that opportunity to actually sit down, finish packing up my house, getting ready to sell it and all that stuff to move to Texas. It was one of those times like I got time now. I'm not going to be flustered. I'm not going to have to rush. Yes, this is a crappy situation, but at the end of the day, I ended up overall winning.
Gotcha. So ChatGPT didn't screw me. On page 16, Mischel's famous marshmallow test demonstrated that those who could delay gratification tended to exhibit greater emotional control and long-term success. This notion ties directly to the idea of emotional durability, emphasizing that it is not about denying emotions, but mastering them to maintain a stable, adaptive mindset. That actually, you know what, this actually makes sense though, because I've heard this a lot in the space that a lot of our problem in today's society is that we get immediate gratification.
Yes, it's that dopamine hits. That's all we're going for right now. Like I'm even guilty of that now. You're guilty of it too. Nuke is definitely guilty of it.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Just go onto our X's. Just look us up on X. And it's just like I posted it. I'm going to probably get yelled at for the one that I said, Diddy parties. A rumor has it Diddy parties happened in Representative Crenshaw's bad eye.
Man. So then we have attachment theory. Now,
yes.
I'm not a huge proponent of attachment theory, but I'm starting to come around to it.
Yeah. Paul Benjamin's actually probably the best guy to talk to about that one, because I understand that stuff very well.
Yeah, well, so I've listened to him, and he was talking to Sean T. Smith about attachment theory, and I actually did have Paul Benjamin on my show to talk about it. But attachment theory, a problem with attachment theory is people think it's deterministic, right? It ends up for a lot of people becoming like astrology for psychology, right? Where they're like, I'm an avoidant, right? I'm a dismissive avoidant. That's just who I am. No, you can actually that's a shitty behavior to have, and you can work on that, and you can actually learn to have a more secure attachment style. So like there's something to it, right?
I would also argue that like no more Mr. Nice Guy. Like the whole nice guy is in itself an attachment theory, and we talk about it a lot in this space. That book we from Dr. Glover, and that right there, like I've talked about it in Beer Club, where I think a lot of
I would say being a nice guy and trying to like make your girl happy all the time and all the covert contract stuff, that's almost like anxious attachment style,
And then like talking with Ryan Christensen, when I did a free consultation with him, like I did both styles of the nice guy between two different relationships, where I was doing the enmeshment stuff and then I was doing the avoidance stuff. So
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so I'm starting to come around with this just because of the dead bedroom coaching stuff, and you notice that a lot of wives, once they've gotten to a point in a relationship where they're mentally check out, they almost drift towards the avoidant. Like they're I've got 2 clients like that. So now I'm like, oh well, how do you re-engage someone who's being avoidant, right? Well, it's little steps over time. You basically have to start planting seeds in their head of like, hey, it's okay to come talk to me, but you're also giving them space and stuff. It's
when you see that like avoidance style, even with yourself, that's kind of like going with that full extreme stoic rock kind of thing. And then on the other end, when you're going into enmeshment, that's like full on codependence. And I'm starting to like, I want to get more into researching into it, like codependency versus counterdependency versus interdependency. I think for men, it's better to be interdependent with women, but at the same time, it's okay to be counterdependent and just work only on yourself. Be okay with being by yourself. And if you do get lonely, get a dog. Just get a dog, guys. Don't be that crazy cat lady. Just get a dog. They're cool.
I like my cats, man. Emotional intelligence, the role of empathy and interpersonal skills in emotional durability. Like now, this is a big thing too, because women always talk about they want a guy who's emotionally. Well, they'll say I want a guy who's emotionally available, but I think what they really want is a guy who's emotionally intelligent, that understands her emotions and doesn't necessarily react to her emotions, but just understands that she's a woman. And validates her feelings for her, and then but has control of his own emotions.
I go further in depth on this this specifically in chapter 5 and page 92 is the page that's going to get me in a lot of trouble if this book blows up, because that's where I argue that men are actually naturally more emotionally intelligent than women.
What page is that? 95?
92.
92. Okay, let's see
chapter 5.
Let's put this out in the ether here. Developing emotional intelligence. So it's often mistakenly attributed more to women, yet it is men who naturally possess a higher degree of it, especially when comparing male empathy to female solipsism. Emotional intelligence, crucial to emotional durability, involves not just understanding and managing one's own emotions, but also recognizing and influencing the emotions of others. Men are uniquely equipped to navigate these complex interpersonal dynamics, maintaining composure and effectiveness in high stress situations where emotional control and leadership are essential. Female solipsism, the tendency to view the world primarily through one's own perspective, often limits emotional intelligence by reducing the ability to empathize genuinely with others. Men, on the other hand, are genuinely more outward focused, which fosters a natural empathy that is both practical and solution oriented. This male empathy is essential in leadership, where understanding and relating to the emotions of others is key to effective guidance in decision making. Yeah, no, I would agree 100% with that. And the feminists are not going to like that.
Yes, get it out there, because I know there's probably some feminists that will watch this.
Opus clip this one.
Where's Governor when you need him?
So I have AI do my clips for social media. So hopefully Opus grabs that one. All right.
Emotional intelligence, women. Am I right?
Whamming
Whamming.
with solipsism. Okay, then we have common misconceptions, right? So emotional durability is not emotional suppression, but emotional mastery, which we've talked about a little bit. It doesn't exclude empathy. It balances personal strength with connection. Like, what do you mean by that?
So personal strength with the connection is if you're able to empathize with them and you're able to maintain your composure at the same time while you're empathizing with them, I think it allows you and your girl to bond better, or even anyone you work with in general. Like if you're able to relate, and that's really what empathy is the ability to relate. Say you're a new guy on the job, but you have a lot of experience in that field already, and there's another new guy, but he's new to the field. Like, hey man, I was in your shoes at one point. I'm new here as well. Let's kind of work on getting you up to snuff. Let's help each other out, kind of deal.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense.
And it helps with like in beer club when it comes to like coaching. It's like a lot of the guys that I see come in and go, it's like, oh God. I just see that first message. I'm like, I know exactly where you've been. Let's hear some more. Let me see if I can help you.
Yeah. Sometimes you can. It's interesting. There's guys in different phases of red pill in beer club. You know, like you'll see the guys that are in there, the guys that are staying there, or the guys that come in there in the red pill rage phase, and they're hating on women and they're like, women suck or whatever, and they can't snap out of it. They don't last very long in there. Because all of us in there have sort of moved past that, and we're like,
chill, come on.
Down. Like, you know, like,
what was the last time you touched grass?
Have you thought about this way, kind of thing? Yeah. But then there's guys that are still like in the denial phase, you know. It's kind of
and then
kind of
a lot of the guys that we see live in your chat, a lot of those guys are where I'm at.
Yeah, a lot of these guys are like well past the, you know, they've what is it? They've traversed the abyss or whatever they say.
Oh, it's like that one guy that posted up the pictures of his girl the other day. I'm like, job. I'm impressed.
Yeah. Oh, you mean the 3% brother that just joined? Yeah, he posted some pictures. Yeah, he posted pictures.
Yeah, I'm like,
yeah, he's doing pretty good.
Yeah, she's cute.
He's come a long way. He used to be full on MGTOW, hated women, total like
the black pill side of MGTOW. I think that's the one thing I also want to get across. Is like I would say I'm at my point in my life, I'm more MGTOW than anything in the true sense of MGTOW. I could have a relationship if I wanted it. I'm fine with or without a relationship. I don't need a girl in my life. I'm fulfilled enough as it is. So I have my game plan. You can come on board with me. You can get off anytime you want. I'm not gonna get upset.
Yeah. Well, I always say that MGTOW actually exists on a spectrum. You know, it's kind of like the autism spectrum, but
a lot of them are probably on
but there's guys that are like more on the black pill side where they hate women and they've sworn off women and they're never talking to women again. And then on the other side, there's guys who are like, no, I'm happy being in a relationship. I just won't get married again.
Yeah,
you know,
that's where I'm at.
That's totally me. Like I have a great relationship with Nurse Chick. We're going strong, and yeah, like it's been the most effortless relationship I've ever had. We've been together 4 years now, not a single argument, not even a single spat, you know.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's like my only thing, like the difference between me and you in that area is I don't have kids yet, and I would like to have kids, but at the same time, I'm coming to the realization I'm 35. Chances of me having kids probably low, but I'm okay with that. My legacy is cemented with at least one book and the second one on the way.
Yeah. Yeah. And you got plenty of time to have kids. Yeah. So, all right, let's try to wrap up these last three concepts. So the last three concepts are practical strategies for developing emotional durability, which that's one of the best things about this book series is there's lots of actionable strategies to help you move forward. We're not just data dumping on you, right? So some of those we've talked about this already: mindfulness, meditation, physical fitness, cognitive reframing, self-reflection, and journaling. And then we have embracing challenges, right?
Yeah.
Like embrace the suck. That's what we
So Nancy Pelosi said during the 2010 debate for the American Affordable Care Act. She said, "Embrace the suck."
Did she? Well, I mean, it's a concept that like people say in the military.
Yeah.
You know, like embrace the suck. If you can look at challenging circumstances in a different way, which goes to the cognitive reframing. If you look at it like this is going to teach me something. This is going to make me stronger. This is going to whatever. You have a different outlet on or outlook on it. Whereas most guys, you know, they look at a challenging situation and then they just sit there and wallow in self-pity about how hard things are, you know?
Yeah. And if you don't embrace the challenge and don't push yourself, you're not going to go very far in life. Like if I didn't take the opportunity to at 17 to enlist in the Navy, I wouldn't be where I'm at now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, military. I am one of those like salty veterans that I'm like, I think every teenage boy coming out of high school should serve at least one tour in the military, you know, like at least, you know, 1 4-year enlistment and get to see the world, move out of your parents' basement, go like live on Uncle Sam's dime for a little bit, go, you know, bang whores in Thailand or the Philippines or whatever. Just make sure that they're not watch out for those lady boys out there. You know, they're tricky.
Don't be Aaron Clary.
But go experience some life, right? And then, you know, if you want to make that career, cool. If not, you at least get some college money out of it.
Yeah.
You know, you can go and you know, go to a trade school with your GI Bill, whatever you want to do, but it gives you a leg up in life, gives you some work experience that most people don't get. It's awesome, man. And man, it teaches you discipline.
Hell,
you know?
you can go to the Navy as an electrician's mate, get and do the journeyman program through the Navy and come out as a journeyman already.
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't even have to go to trade school. You're right there. So if you want to,
and they pay you.
Yeah.
Not only, they pay you to do it. It's one thing, you know, when I was dating Red Pill Chick, her son was into music and stuff, right? He was in band and all that. And I was trying to convince him to go in the military because he was a total, you know, lost cause kind of kid. And I was telling him, I go, you know, you could join the Navy as a musician. They have an MU rate, right? And he goes, what? And I go, yeah. If you want to, you know, get out and also play music and stuff like that, there's an option for you to do that.
Have you ever seen them take their advancement exams?
For the musicians?
Yeah. They're sitting there with government issued iPads.
Okay.
Listening to music as they take the exam.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, like they got to know music theory and stuff.
Yeah, like on hit like the right question and it's like, what is this note? Blah 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 blah.
Oh,
stuff like that. I'm like, what the?
That's interesting. That's fascinating. We used to have to for the OS exam, I always had to bring up a stack of maneuvering boards and parallels and I can't remember, like a compass kind of thing, and be able to do like navigation things and stuff. Yeah.
They let us bring a calculator. That was it.
Okay. Yeah. We were allowed. You're allowed certain tools depending on what your rate was, and so we always would bring down I think we have a calculator too, but most of the time it was a maneuvering board is what we would use for a lot of that stuff. All right. Well, that basically covers chapter 1. So guys, definitely get the book. I've been dropping the link in the chat there. It's The Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence, Psychology, Emotion. It's all on emotional durability and how having that really will help you have a more dominant masculine presence. And then while you're at it, you might as well get all the books in this series. Wraith has a book too, The Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence, Power Frame Identity. And then my book is Psychology Paradigm. All of our covers are slightly different, but
I have them all. I have not read yours or Wraith's yet, just because I was in the middle of packing stuff up. But I have.
First of all, wow. Second of all, my book is the only one that's available on Audible. So if you guys are audio listeners, just do a search for The Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence. Mine's the only one that is out there yet at this time. Tune into Rule Zero tomorrow. I think John Fitch is hosting. I don't know what the topic is, but it is technically the Christmas episode, which I hosted last year, and then Troy Francis hosted the year before that. So I did 20 red flags of Christmas last year. That was a fun episode.
If Ryan shows up and doesn't do Wendell, I'm gonna be so upset.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Wendell was hilarious.
Yes. He need, I'm going to remind Ryan, like, hey man, bring Wendell back.
I was dying, man. I think Ryan was drinking.
I think he was, yeah. Well, the thing is that we all released books, right? So Ryan was like, he had just released Frame. I released Everything I Wish I Knew when I was 18. Clary released A World Without Men. And yeah, Ryan was having so much fun. So he just out of nowhere busts out this character where he's like a blue-pilled, simp guy, and he's got glasses on, and he's like, "Yo, women, you guys are, I'm defending her honor," like all this kind of stuff.
That's such a good episode.
So John Fitch is hosting, and then AJ, you're hosting Dragon Ship tomorrow. What are we talking about?
We are going to do tongue-in-cheek discussion on the 2024 Red Pill Gift Guide. It's going to be a giant infomercial of all our books and other stuff.
Oh, don't tell them that, or they're not going to tune in.
It's whatever you want to bring to the table. Tune in tomorrow, 12:30.
Tune into the 12:30 Central.
Yes,
yeah.
12:30 Central.
Tune into the podcast on Monday. I'm going to be talking about how maintenance sex is basically grape. It's basically grape. And I'm going to, and people are like, "What? That doesn't sound right." Well,
maintenance sex doesn't sound right at all.
Well, the legendary Archwinger has a post. He has a post he wrote in, I think, 2013, and it was about how women who are unsatisfied in their marriage, they basically psychologically feel like grape victims, because when they're putting out and they don't have the desire to do it, they're basically doing it against their will. Right. And so if you think about maintenance sex, your girl's like throwing you a solid, but she really doesn't want to do it. It's basically grape. Right. And it's a terrible idea. So we're going to get into that on Monday. It's going to be a pretty heavy topic. So definitely tune into that. Oh shit. My 3% brother Guy's in the house. He says Red Pill gift equals a PS5.
Yes.
And AJ is saying RTX 4090. What's that?
It's the top graphics card right now, but I have a 4070 Ti, which is 2 models down. So
Got it.
It's fine.
Got it. Oh, you guys are talking about gaming
computer
nerd
parts.
shit.
Yeah, computer
Got
parts.
it. Okay. Well, hey AJ, where can hold on? Let me bring this up here. We got this. There we go. There's AJ.
Yes.
AJ, where can people find you online?
Let me pull up my little notepad and I'll copy and paste my X and YouTube. Where'd my notepad go? That's the next thing. Professional podcaster.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Where's my links?
Are you still streaming?
I'm actually going to do a stream tonight. I did a poll. Only 2 people answered. It was yes. And it's going to be a fun one. It's not going to be about anything in particular. It's just going to be a nerdy Viking assembles some minis, because my work gave me $450 in gift cards, and I spent some money on some plastic craft from Games Workshop with these 2 big ass fuckers.
Okay. I don't speak nerd. Like, what is that? Like,
that's Warhammer 40K miniatures designed by Games Workshop. These are 2 of the more expensive named characters, and they're corrupted by chaos and became demons. They were superhumans at one point.
Okay, so for those that don't speak nerd, so Warhammer is it's kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, but you have little figurines, and you guys
have armies.
Okay, and you have to paint them yourself.
Yes. Assemble and paint them yourself.
Assemble. So that's a part of the hobby, is assembling and painting, and then you take these painted figurines and play them in a game with other nerds.
Yes,
got it.
You can do that, but these ones are specifically, one of them is going to be for a diorama that I'm going to build based on parts of the story, and the other one is I just like the model. It's a very beautiful model. It's the most detailed model they made.
Yeah.
So
I know I'm going to get shit about that. Like, I know Rolo plays this stuff. Vince does this sort of thing. Thor does.
I'm printing a model for Thor right now.
Thor does too. I think brother John from Beer Club, right? John's down here.
John Smith.
Yeah. He does this sort of thing. And I'm like, y'all are fucking nerds, man.
Nerds. To quote Vince, we're all geeks one way or another.
Yeah. Well, I prefer the term geek to nerd. Yeah, definitely. Guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thanks for everyone that sounded off in the chat. Thank you for the super chats, guys. That helps support the show more than anything else. Follow me on social media. The links are in the description. Hold on. Let me make
my thing didn't go through, so I'm going to just type in Arms Detail on YouTube. Is probably the place to watch me tonight.
Yeah, just look up Arms Detail. There's no one else. Okay, it's hard to see all these things with AJ in the picture.
I know I'm ugly. The beard takes up half the screen.
Get on the email list. I'll send you a bunch of free stuff, including the ebook. If you don't want stickers, just put don't want stickers in the address field. Get in Beer Club, beer.comeonmanpod.com. And then guys, seriously, if your relationship's on the rocks, if she hasn't banged you in months or years, or if she does, it's like once a month, twice a month if you're lucky, that sort of thing. That your life doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to suffer through that. And a lot of guys are going through this. And then to compound on that, there's all the emotional turmoil that tends to come during the holiday season. Like, reach out to me, okay? Go to call.fixedadbedrooms.com. Let's get your wife fucking again, all right? That's all we got, AJ. We will see you guys tomorrow on Rule Zero and the Dragon Ship.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. Now, go out and get it.